Zack D films. Zack D films. Going off of his
When
most
you
popular.
get stitches, a doctor threads a needle through your wound and pulls it tight to close the
Why is it so detailed? No.
skin. As the stitches hold the edges together, the wound becomes inflamed as new cells begin to repair the tissue. Afterwards, connective tissues and collagens start to create skin. Then, blood vessels form to nourish these developing tissues, filling in the area. And over a few weeks, the wound will have healed together and the stitches are removed. When you get stitches, a doctor...
It's so gross.
If you get a splinter, most people just go ahead and pull them out.
Yeah.
But sometimes they get lodged so deep into your skin that you can't reach them.
Just cut it out. At least that's what I was told. You just grab a knife and you just... you know?
If the area gets infected, it will start to swell as pus forms under the skin. This creates pressure around the splinter that can sometimes push it upwards towards the skin's surface. And if you're lucky, after a certain period of time, your body could have completely removed it from your skin. If you get a splinter,
just cut it out, okay? Might seem controversial, or might not, but it's just cut it out. Bruh.
Have you ever noticed how odd the McFlurry spoon is? Well, some people think it's supposed to work like a straw, but you only have to try that
It goes on the machine that mixes it. It's really neat.
once to realize it does not work. The true reason for these weird spoons is actually pretty genius. You see, McDonald's didn't want to clean their beaters after every McFlurry, so instead, they designed a spoon that would also work as the mixer. Have you ever noticed how
if you shot a bullet at ancient armor, some people think it could actually stop the impact. But
no. It's old, it's ancient. It's not gonna stop new stuff.
armor like chainmail was designed to block slashing swords, and plate armor was even better at deflecting strikes by spreading the blunt force across more area, lessening its
You know what? I take what I said back. It might actually work.
impact. But these materials weren't very good at stopping arrows.
Never mind. Never mind.
Which had enough energy to enter the armor, so a bullet would have no trouble going right
Good video.
through.
If you got my like.
If you somehow removed all of the blood vessels in your body and tied them together, you
would die.
Might think it would be about this long. But the human body has thousands of these tiny vessels that weave in and out of every body.
I'm not gonna lie, why does that look cool? Like, it looks kind of cool.
Part. And with all of them combined, if you started in New York, your blood vessels would make it all the way to the Grand Canyon. It would go on to reach all the way across the Pacific Ocean, over
Okay, so would it just reach over back to New York or something?
Japan, Asia, and all of Europe. And not only would it make it all the way back to your starting point, but it would be able to make this trip 2 to 4 times over.
God damn.
If you somehow
So now let's take every human being to ever exist. Yup. Alright, hold on. So current population. Okay. So let's take that 8.142 times 4. It could make it 32 billion times around the Earth. That is crazy.
When a doctor gives you a shot, they can sometimes accidentally push the needle all the way through your vein, which ends up puncturing both sides.
Really?
Once the needle
I didn't know that, dude. When it goes all the way through, it punctures and makes a other hole. Wow! Whoa!
is removed, it leaves 2 holes in the vein. And before the body can thicken the blood and seal these holes, it bleeds into the surrounding tissues. This leaked blood forms a dark, tender area under the skin, creating bruises and splotchy areas. When a doctor gives you a shot, they can...
Have you ever wondered how this trick is done? It's one of those things where you know he can't actually be making the salt disappear, but it's still confusing to look at. Well, it turns out that the simplest explanation is the right one. Look closely at his hand during this shot. Do you notice how he sort of grabs his thumb here? Well, this is because he's using a prop called a Dofi finger. He holds it in his fist like a cup, fills it up with the salt, gets it onto his other thumb, and then grabs it off his thumb back into the first position. Watch it again and see if you can notice. Have you ever wondered how this trick is done? It's one of those things where you know he can't actually be making the salt disappear, but it's still confusing to look.
Oh, you can see it in his hand. Like, bro.
Where you know he can't actually be making the salt disappear, but it's still confusing to look at. Well, it turns out that the simplest explanation this trick is done. It's one of those things where you know he
right there, you can see it. Right there.
Can't actually be making the salt disappear, but
if you lose one of your adult teeth, the bone where the tooth once was can start to deteriorate. To prevent further damage, a dentist will fill the cavity with a synthetic material that mimics real bone. Once filled, a metal bracket is secured on top and the incision is closed. After the graft has healed, a large implant post is inserted into the new bone. Then a small metal piece is screwed in and a porcelain tooth is secured on top.
That's kind of cool, actually.
If you accidentally touched a table saw, you'd probably think your fingers would be cut off. But
well, yeah. It's a saw. Like,
this isn't always the case. You see, some modern high-end saws actually know the difference.
Modern high-end. Like, people are gonna actually afford that. I'm not, unless you're Elon Musk or, I don't know, Andrew Tate or, no, Andrew Tate's kind of screwed. He's not rich no more. Unless you're Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, you're screwed.
Difference between wood and your skin. Once your finger comes in contact with these special saws, it immediately detects the electrical conductivity from your skin. This triggers an immediate mechanical response that stops the blade in less than 5 milliseconds.
Oh, that's cool.
If
that's
you
cool,
accidentally,
but expensive.
When a honeybee stings a human, they actually get stuck for a while and can't leave. And this is because their stinger is barbed, which means it can't retract once it's lodged into something. But once the bee finally pulls away, its insides get ripped out because the stinger stays in the skin. This leaves the bee without some of its internal organs, resulting in its death. When a honeybee stings a human,
bees.
Have you ever wondered about this little dangly thing at
the uvula?
The back of your throat?
It's like a gag
even though
reflex.
It looks like a miniature punching bag, it actually serves a handful of important functions. You see, when you swallow food, this thing called a uvula actually swings backwards to prevent the food from going up your nose. It's also constantly producing saliva to keep the throat moist, which aids in swallowing. And because there's a tiny muscle inside the uvula, it can move around, which helps you speak. Have you ever wondered about this? If you're trapped in the trunk of a vehicle, you should immediately start searching for the glow-in-the-dark release hatch. If you don't see the latch, don't panic. Trunks are not airtight, so there's no risk of running out of oxygen. Try feeling around the edges of the trunk for a handle. This may allow you to release the seat back. As a last resort, kick out one of the brake lights. This small opening will allow you to signal for help. If you're trapped in the trunk of a...
But what if you can't? What if there's no opening? That's
One
you're kind of
piece
screwed
soap.
then, I guess.
Let's
Imagine waking up in a coffin and realizing that you were mistakenly buried alive. Now, this wouldn't happen with the medical guidelines we have today, but in the 19th century, old coffins were found with scratch marks on the inside, making this a legitimate concern. So as a solution, they started adding strings inside the coffins that traveled up to the ground and were connected to a little bell. And if you woke up underground in a coffin, you could just ring the bell, signaling that you're still alive. Imagine waking...
They found scratch marks. Hold on. Coffins with scratch marks. Oh my god. You can kind of see it right here. Wow. No, that's insane. Oh, yep. Oh, that's okay. That's insane.
Waking up in a coffin. If you're stuck in a water slide that's filling up with water, most people think they should
Isn't that what it's supposed to do? It's a water
try
slide.
to climb back up. But the slippery surface makes this nearly impossible. Instead, focus on staying calm and try to create space for air by tilting your head back. If water keeps rising, use your
Oh, I thought. Oh no,
hands
that's
to
not
push
good.
yourself forward. If you can't move, brace yourself as the water fills the slide entirely. Once the pressure equalizes, you may be able to push forward and float to safety. If you're stuck in a
No, that's gotta be scary. No, that's actually gotta be scary.
I just found out.
If you get a skin tag, some people think you can just rip them off yourself.
No, this can cause cancer, skin cancer, and it can lead to infections.
But you actually shouldn't do this. You see, skin tags are connected to your body by a thin piece of tissue. And if you looked inside of it, the tag actually has its own nerves and blood vessels.
Oh, I thought it was what do you call it? Like an overgrown mole or something. No.
Ripping it off would cause significant bleeding, and the open wound would be susceptible to infection. Instead, if you want them removed, a doctor can freeze them off with liquid nitrogen, which is a better option. If you get a... Have you ever wondered why the letter E isn't used to grade? Teachers use A, B...
My someone told me this once. They thought it meant excellent or exotic. It was one of those. But that's why it's F for fail or failure or failed. So
B, C, D, and F, but they skip E.
Yeah.
Why is this? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. You see, back in the day, schools did use the letter E, but in the 1930s, they decided to stop after students and parents thought that it meant excellent.
Yep.
It was quickly replaced with F, because F for failed made more sense. Have you ever...
We are looking.
The soldier's foot...
What did I just...
We are looking for gamers who want to be.
The soldier's foot would break through a hidden bamboo slat and into a hole if they stepped onto a cartridge trap. Inside, a bullet was positioned on top of a nail that was fastened to a wooden board. And when the
Yeah, and then because how a gun works, in case you're unintelligent like me. So, we're gonna act like this is the pin. No, actually, this works much better. Do you see that? This, right? If I can find something. I'll be right back. I'm back! Alright. So this is the little needle. The bullet, as you can see from there, there's a little thing here. Hold on, let me check. Let me see. You see that? Yeah, that little guy. A little needle would be pressed onto this. And because of that, it would release it would be like an ignition, and it would just set off, and then the gunpowder inside would shoot the actual bullet out. It's weird, but it's cool in my opinion. Could just be me though, I could be crazy.
The soldier's foot hit this shell, it pushed the nail into the primer. This caused the shell to suddenly explode and shoot back up at the soldier. The soldier's foot would break through. When you use a derma roller, it pushes a bunch of tiny needles into your face, creating small punctures across the surface. Your brain perceives these small holes as wounds, which triggers your body's natural healing response. The body then sends out cells to make collagen and elastin, which helps your skin stay firm and stretchy. Over time, these cells strengthen the skin, giving a firmer and more youthful appearance. When you use a derma roller.
Okay, so we just hurting ourselves to look younger? Girl, that does not change the fact that you are 97 years old. Just because you look like you're 20 doesn't change the fact that you're 90. Calm down.
Help fuel your
If you plucked out a single strand of your hair, it could hold about 40 pennies without breaking. But if you braid just half of all your hair into a rope, the combined strength...
I'm sorry. Oh, whoa. Okay, first of all, why does she look like a emo girl? Tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Braid just half of all your hair into a rope, the combined strength could hold up a large SUV. And if you add in all of your hair into the
She's like, wait a damn minute.
Rope, it could withstand about 15 metric tons, which is about the weight of a young gray whale. If you plucked out a single strand of your hair, it could hold about 40 pennies.
Yeah, but that's just like, that's long hair. I don't know if you can see here, but I don't have Charlie D'Amelio level hair. I don't have Moist Critical level hair, okay? So it wouldn't work for a lot of people.
A few days ago, I showed you how this trick was done, and I was wrong. This is how I originally explained it. Cane, base, rods, back brace, harness. All that's left for the magician to do is use his core strength to pull his legs up.
Well, this magician, known as Special Head, left a comment on my TikTok. He also made a response video proving that my theory is wrong. There appears to be no base or harness. In fact, Special Head has some other videos online where he just touches someone's head and levitates.
He's a god.
So what's going on here? What's the real explanation to this trick? The answer is that I have no idea.
He's farting so hard it's propelling him upwards.
This might blow your
If you chip a piece off of your tooth,
It would hurt.
a dentist might shave down the surrounding area. Then
That's not that. It's gonna hurt because there's nerves in your teeth. It's gonna hurt like hell. Like it will. Ugh.
bonding material that matches your tooth color is applied and shaped to match the original appearance. Once the shape is near perfect, a special light hardens the material, making it as durable as the tooth. Finally, the dentist polishes the tooth to blend it seamlessly with the others. If you
Oh yeah,
chip
and then
a
it grows
piece
a
off-
little piece off of it. Yep, makes sense. Yep. Okay.
If you stepped on a World War II landmine,
Who's standing on a World War II landmine in 2025?
3 prongs hidden just beneath the surface would immediately sense the pressure. This pressure would release a striker pin,
Well, that's
activating
how-
a fuse. Then, an initial explosion propels the mine upwards, reaching about waist height. In the air, the fuse reaches the main charge inside, causing the mine to explode. The casing shatters, ejecting metal fragments at high speeds in all directions. If you step
Want to see how you'll look in 5?
If you touch a cactus, you'll probably get the spines stuck in your skin. And if you try to pull them out, you can actually break them off in your flesh because they're so fragile. So instead, you should apply a layer of glue over the area. Once it is dried, quickly peel it off in a smooth motion.
Oh, that's gotta hurt like hell though. Like, better to get it out than to have it in you. Pause. But that gotta hurt.
This will pull out the spines evenly, causing them to stay intact. If you touch a Do you notice something weird about how Putin walks? He swings his left arm freely, but his right arm seems like it's stuck to his side. Some people have speculated that because this is a sign of early Parkinson's, Putin might be at risk. But the real reason he walks this way has nothing to do with his health. Putin was a KGB officer for 16 years, and in the KGB manual, it spells out the specific way officers should walk so they can always be prepared to handle their weapons. This style of walking perfectly describes the way Putin walks today. Other long-term KGB officers also seem to walk the same way.
Wow. Okay.
Are you tired of
No.
They opened the pallet of ammunition only to find it was full of Tootsie
Are they in a war against dogs and cats? Like, what?
Rolls. You see, Tootsie Roll was a code name for mortar rounds, which the Marines desperately needed. But the radio operator who received the order didn't know that and sent the actual candy instead. At first, the Marines were angry, but the sub-freezing temperatures had frozen all their food, and the candies ended up sustaining them over the next few days. They
Oh.
even used them to plug bullet holes by warming them up and letting them freeze in place. And eventually, the real mortar rounds did arrive. They opened the pallet of
So, the fool just saved their lives.
If you swallowed a watermelon seed, some people think
It just goes to your stomach and dissolves. It's nothing.
that it could potentially sprout in your stomach, meaning you'd literally be
No. It needs water to grow. I feel like this is just common sense. Your stomach has acid in it. The only reason it doesn't go through your body is because there's a thin layer inside your stomach that basically holds the acid in. So no, this wouldn't work. That the watermelon seed would just go away.
growing a watermelon inside of you. Now,
No.
this is obviously not true.
Duh.
Your stomach acid would dissolve the seed before it had time to grow. But there was a case of a man who swallowed a pea that ended up going down the wrong way. And months later, after being rushed to the hospital because of breathing problems, a doctor discovered that the pea had been ingested in the man's lung. And because lungs are warm and moist, the pea was able to split open and sprout into a plant. If you swallow...
What? Okay.
The army ant is placed on the wound and positioned so its jaws clamp tightly on the edges, securing them together. Then the ant's body is twisted off, leaving its head and mandibles in place, which acts as a stitch. More are added depending on the size of the wound, and these ant stitches are left in the skin until the edges of the wound stay closed on their own.
That's gotta be infectious, right? Yeah, it would cause infection.
Army ant. When you pump gas in your car, there's this tiny hole connected to a valve that sucks in air. This air intake keeps the fuel flowing smoothly as it fills your car. But as soon as the tank is full, the gas covers this hole, stopping the airflow and creating a vacuum inside. And this change in pressure triggers the pump to stop the flow of gas. When you pump gas in your car,
I am Butch.
You know the equal sign in math? Well, back in the day, people actually wrote is equal to.
That gotta be a pain.
Instead. And mathematician Robert Ricord was getting tired of writing it over and over.
Yeah.
So in 1557, he started using two horizontal lines instead. He figured since the two lines were the same size, they were equal to each other, which made it the perfect symbol for equality. You know the equal...
Wait, no, that's smart.
If an octopus loses some of its limbs and then somehow makes it back into the ocean, you might think it would die from the open wounds. But they have an ability that allows them to quickly seal the cut before it becomes infected. Once the wounds begin to heal, new cells can start to reconstruct the missing limbs. And after several weeks, new fully functional tentacles regrow.
Okay. This is gonna sound horrendous. This is gonna sound bad. I am sorry for any vegans, vegetarians that are watching this. Is that just not an infinite food source, basically? Like, cut off a tentacle, put it into salt water, and let it regrow its limbs? Like that's just solving world hunger right there. Like, no, am I wrong? Leave in the comments if I'm stupid.
If you shoot...
Hey, toes! No.
If you shoot at bulletproof glass, the outer layer absorbs the impact and shatters. But under this is a tough plastic sheet that acts as a web, catching the shattered glass.
I'm sorry, plastic can catch bullets?
The energy is then evenly distributed across the surface, which reduces the bullet's force. And if that isn't enough to stop it, there's another layer of glass backed by more plastic that ensures the bullet would not make it all the way through. If you shoot at bullet, if you took out one of your bones,
it wouldn't be in your body,
and somehow molded it into a chunk about this big, you might think it would be completely crushed under the weight of a car. But human bones are actually made of a tough mix of minerals and a stretchy protein called collagen. And this makes them so strong that a single cubic inch can support the weight of nearly 5 standard cars. If you took out one of your bones
So, what do you want
We're that powerful,
When
huh?
you swallow food, it's supposed to go down your esophagus,
No shit.
which leads to your stomach. But there's this different route that leads to your lungs called the trachea. And the trachea sits right next to your esophagus. Now, when you swallow, the fleshy parts in your throat move over the trachea, so the food won't go down it. But sometimes, if you eat too fast, the fleshy parts of your throat don't do their job, and the food goes down your trachea, also known as the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
When you
No, my dad has where if he turns his head, it goes down the, what did he call it?
too fast, the fleshy parts of your throat don't do their job, and the food goes down your trachea.
Your trachea. It goes down his trachea when he turns his head, and he swallows. So he's always like this. Oh, like he's always facing forward. So then that doesn't happen. It's weird. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Ooh. And I'll see you next time.